Because I don't think, because remember the Fire Stick before the 4K, I don't think that had any RAM.
Yeah, it had to have RAM, but I think it wasn't.
Or
Like
was it the one before that?
or...
There was a Fire Stick. I don't know which one it was. I know the first gen didn't have RAM. The second gen might have not had RAM. The only RAM that came out of anything wasn't a dedicated RAM. It was off. I think they were banking off either the chip or something, but they did not have a dedicated RAM.
So, just quickly, while I have this up in front of me, there is a 2 gig RAM version, but they are selling it for $100.
Interesting.
And it doesn't ship to Canada, so I can't get that. I don't know what they were thinking, because obviously, I don't know. Maybe they don't know that the Fire Stick exists. Because they would think if you're coming out with that, you're going to try to compete with the Fire Stick. If you're not going to try to compete with them, price, then at least try to compete with it spec wise. Say I am more quality than they are.
Yeah.
But there's no clear decision as to what statement their device is supposed to make. Is it value? Is it quality? I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it.
I don't know. They're going back old school, like big time. So I remember, I'm trying to pull up some of this, like I'm looking at the Amazon App Store. I remember when I first looked into the specs on this thing, release year for the Fire Stick, Gen 1, 2015. It said the system had 512 megabytes, and then the video had 512 megabytes. No dedicated RAM though. And I remember when I was looking into the specs, I forgot I didn't use IDA 64 like how I'm using now. I used to use something else. But when I went in there and I was looking at it, and normally you see the RAM and you see what the speeds are doing while you're doing it, it said 0, and I was like, "What? Wow!"
You can't. I don't understand.
I'm like, "How do you not?" Yeah. So what they did was, so the graphics cards, they typically have built-in RAM, right? What the Gen 1, they didn't have a dedicated RAM inside their hardware, but within their hardware, they had some sort of, it was like half and half, where I don't even know what to call it. The CPU had some kind of RAM and the GPU had some kind of RAM.
Was it like an APU unit where it ran both the
I think so.
CPU and the GPU together combined and shared the RAM for it?
I think so. Yeah. So it wasn't a dedicated RAM, but it was split into two, 512 and 512. And one was for system and the other one was for video, which is weird. And then when the second gen came out, I remember doing a video back then when the second gen, when a breaking news, brand new Fire Stick with dedicated RAM. I remember that came out and I was just like, hell yeah, give me some RAM. Finally, 1 gig of RAM and IDAP. And that was in 2016. That was 1 year later. And I remember they did that because everybody was complaining, how are you not going to have RAM? How are you not going to have dedicated RAM? Why do you have RAM built into, I don't know what it was, the CPU, the GPU, and then it was half and half. They didn't even do a full half of one. So that means the system took half of it. And then when you were playing, where if it was the GPU that was doing the rendering or whatever it was,
Yeah.
that housed the other half.
Right.
So it made zero sense. It's like, I don't know. It just made zero sense. So 1 year later, they come with the second gen of the Fire Stick with dedicated 1 gig of RAM.